Hi, my name is Colby Sharp. I am a teacher in Michigan who is about to begin winter break. And winter break is one of the most magical reading times of the year. 2 weeks in the cold, cuddled up under the tree, reading a book. It's amazing. And in class, we've been spending some time getting ready for winter break. I want to make sure that my fifth graders are ready. So today we spent a bunch of time figuring out which books we wanted to read. And then tomorrow we're going to make a plan of how we're going to make sure that we're successful, how we're going to make sure we have time, how we're going to make sure that we avoid distractions and get a little bit of reading in there every day. I'm really excited. So I'm going to share with you now my reading plan. But before I get started, if you could let me know down in the comments below what books you plan on reading over winter break. I have actually like a shelf in the closet in my classroom. My to-read closet shelf is growing and growing and growing and growing, but I'm always looking for more books to put on there. So let me know down in the comments below, what books do you plan on reading? All right, you ready? Let's go. Okay, so I have actually fallen into not a reading rut. I've been reading, but I'm a little overwhelmed with the end of the year, Christmas and school and pageants and gymnastics meets, and I keep losing the book that I'm reading. I misplace it. I have been reading The Only Black Girls in Town, and I'm loving it. But the other day I couldn't find it, so I started reading Nick Stone's Clean Getaway. And then I left this at home, and I wanted to read a little bit at lunch the other day, so I started reading Lindsay Stoddard's Brave Like That. So I am reading 3 books. I'm reading Brandy's book, Nick's book, and Lindsay's book. And that's a problem because I find when I'm reading a bunch of books at once, it doesn't usually go too well. I talk about that with my students all the time. And I'm actually kind of falling into that trap right now. So I told them that, friends, I'm struggling. I'm reading lots of books. I'm reading, but I think I need to finish some books. And it's just so much more satisfying for me as a reader. So I'm going to read this one first, The Only Black Girls in Town. Then I'm going to read Brave Like That, and then I'm going to read Clean Getaway. And when I was telling my students, they're like, Mr. Sharp, how did you decide what books to read in order? I said, I use this really scientific approach. I'm more than halfway done with this one. I'm a quarter of the way done with this one, and I'm an eighth of the way done with this one. So not really scientific, just I'm closest to being done. Second closest, third. I only read about 15, 20 pages of this, and I was loving it. And I was actually telling my students about it, and they're all dying to read it. But since I only read 15 pages, I'll probably read these 2 first, then I'll probably actually start this one over. Once I finish these 3 books, I'm going to read Leslie Connor's A Home for Goddesses and Dogs. And the reason I'm going to read this one next is this is actually the longest book at 386 pages. This is the longest book on my to-read list. And having that extended time, my wife and I are getting away for a few days. We'll be up in the snowy Petoskey area. Having a long book, it's a great time for that. So excited to read those 4. And then I'm going to kind of switch out of children's literature for a minute and read Anthony O'Neill's Debt-Free Degree. I am really just kind of nerdy about personal finance and saving for retirement and planning for kids' college. And I think that the student loan crisis in America is really scary. And I have a 7th grader, and I have a 6th grader, and I have a 4th grader, and I have a kindergartner, and I have a 2-year-old. So there's a lot of college that's coming ahead, and I would like for all of my own children to be able to pay for school. And where they go to school, I think, will be determined on what we can afford. So excited to get some tips from this book. But yeah, these are the 5 books that I'm reading. Grown-up book and 4 amazing kid books. So please, again, let me know down in the comments below, what books do you plan on reading over break? I can't wait to read all of your suggestions. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, click that subscribe button. If you click the bell that pops up once you do that, you'll get an email. Anytime I post a new video, we can just hang out and talk about books all the time. It's magical. Have an awesome-tastic day. Happy reading.